Ready to start here. All right, Trustee Carroll, we're ready.
All right, we'll call a meeting to order. If you could, please stand for the pledge of the flag and short salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we ask that you guide us in our decisions tonight to best benefit the residents of Osnaburg Township, and we ask that you keep all our personnel safe when they go about their duties, and we ask that you send a little bit of rain. Amen.
Amen.
All right, any changes for the agenda?
I do not have any.
No, none for me.
Trustees, I had mentioned just a few things there under the number 6. I'll have an addition there. Down on number 8B, the new Ohio Ambulance grant, I'll just need something there approval for. That'll be like a resolution of how you want that money spent. Under number 10, where it says road bids, I'll have a little more explanation for that.
Okay.
Under zoning, I'll have some information updates on some recording I did for the zoning office. And then number 13, Old Township business, if there's any discussion on possible cemetery levy or road levy.
All right. With that, we'll move on to the trustee meeting minutes for 6/24/24.
Trustee Varian moves to accept the minutes as presented.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Trustee Varian moves to accept as presented.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Did I give it to you? Yeah, it's attached. I see it down there. I gave it to you with the minutes.
It's coming back.
All right, before we do public speaks, we got a couple things we're gonna approve here, and then we'll move into public speaks. Number one is Bruder Tool and Repair.
Actually, before that,
It's actually go to the one that I needed to add in. I can let you know that. It'd be
24-164.
24-164 bulletproof welding for repair. That was on the boom mower, some fabrication work that needed to be done.
500.
Yeah,
Trustee
500.
Puro moves to pay Boomer
Bulletproof welding.
Bulletproof Welding $500 for bushing repair on the boom mower.
Trustee Varian second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next one there, Bruner Tool and Repair, the 579. That was for additional work that needed done on the pressure washer that the road department had to take in. They actually had to service that to get all the things tweaked in on it.
Trustee Puro moves to pay Bruner Tool and Repair $579.86 for pressure washer repairs.
Trustee Varian second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
The next one, that black sheet fabrication was prepared. It's the actual welding and all on the boom mowers that needed to be done.
Trustee Puro moves to pay back sheet fabrication $1,774 for restructuring fabrication on the boom road mower.
Trustee Varian second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Next one, cross truck equipment, that's kind of standard, it was an LED light on the, which tractor?
That was for on the,
That's for-
164 or 6410, the boom mower.
That's the orange safety beacon, right?
Yes.
Trustee Varian moves to pay cross truck equipment $282 even.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Innovative hydraulics was the actual cylinder, that's actually the physical cylinder that's on the boom itself. That had to be rebuilt, repacked, student.
They had an issue where Stuart found it was drifting, so
Yeah, it's all
immediately
fixed.
they took it off, ran it in, and it was just, it wasn't real serious.
So do we have a problem with the boom mower all at once here?
It just, these happened over the last 4 weeks, Trustee Griffin.
The cylinder happened, and they
The boom
found
mower-
the
Okay.
The
islands
boom
and
mower
stuff.
deck was done way back before winter. Right before winter was over, when spring came. That's when we took it to the other place.
That
to
was
have
just
it
a
well.
delayed
They
building.
had it for 3 months.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he didn't send it.
Yeah, trustees, this didn't all come in at
Yeah.
one time.
Okay, I was gonna say, that's $3,100 on one
Yeah.
boom mower.
It came in over a period of the last 5-6 weeks, being we didn't have our meeting last time. It seems like a lot, but it's,
The cylinder and the boomer welding are just something that comes
Okay.
on, you have no
Yeah,
choice.
it's just, yeah. The cylinder just needs repacked and new seals and everything, and we had to put a new bushing in.
Trustee Pure moves to pay Innovative Hydraulics $854.85 for cylinder rebuild on the boom mower.
Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
your next one is Pro Midwest Air. That's the annual, this is for fire department, that's the annual Cascade
The air testing.
air testing of that unit. That was last year. I think it's up $20 from last year. That's kind of a normal fee, yearly fee.
Trustee Varian moves to pay Pro Midwest Air LLC $850.
Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
And then trustees, the last one there, it says transfer of 20,000 from the 2282, that's your
Is this
soft
soft
billing.
billing? Okay.
And then it's going back to the general fund. That was part of that original, back at the first of the year where we had to put money out of the general fund, transferred in. And this is a payback. Now there's enough there that I feel we can do it and hold out the rest of the year, all right?
Trustee Varian moves to transfer $20,000 from the 2282 soft billing fund back to the general fund.
Brian, does that complete the amount that we needed to transfer then?
What's that?
Does that cover all that we had loaned out there?
Yes,
Okay.
we originally did 50,000, we
Yeah.
did 30,000 on the fire, and then we did 20,000 on the ambulance. Now everything's been paid back to the general fund.
Okay, Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you, trustees. That's unusual to have that many, but because they were stacking up and I wanted to have them and get them all paid and squared up. Some of these are older, 3 or 4 weeks old, some of them are new, but that helped me get all caught up.
Okay,
Thank
we're gonna move to public speak. We had some gentlemen come in here. Rick, you guys, would you
These
guys like?
guys were here first.
We're gonna go into order, but if you're
Do
wanting
you guys
to
want to
speak,
speak?
we need you to sign in.
I'll sign in.
You just have to give us your name and
They
address.
was in here.
We're gonna go by order of the list,
Yeah.
but I just want to take care of it before we get started.
All right, I didn't know all of this section.
It's just a sign, actually, we have you logged in. and everything. You're doing good for free.
Yeah, I just, yeah, I, David Beasley,
Thank you.
I'm not good, so.
Yeah, it's Lucy.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna start with first on the list, Bill Ross. If you-
Actually, this is my first time here.
If you could, please come up.
Yeah, if you just come up.
State your name and up by the microphone.
Yeah, the microphone's really hot, so if you talk anywhere around it, it'll pick you up.
Yeah, anywhere close to it,
Anywhere
right
close.
there.
Yeah, talk right into it.
there.
Whatever you want to do.
How you gonna blow it up?
Yes, please.
Okay, my name is Bill Ross. I live on Klotz Avenue. But I want to basically turn over to Trustee so I can learn how this works. And she has the same one I'm going to be addressing, so I'm not going to do it. She's a better speaker.
That's fine.
A lot, so
No worries at
I'll
all.
get used to it and then go from there.
It's
All
fine.
right,
Sounds good.
Trina Warner, you're up. Trina,
Trevor Werner, I live at 526 215th Street, Northeast, East Canton. And you guys all got my email. I'm here asking for any ounce of help I can get with the issue of the Section 8 rental that is behind me that I've put up with for 34 years. And I'm exhausted. I'm afraid to go home at night because I don't know what I'm going to be confronted with. I can't even live in my own house when they play the loud demonic rap music with the heavy bass. I can't even hear myself, can't hear my TV because it's so loud in my house, it vibrates my walls. And I've called the police twice, as you see in my email. There's been more incidents than that, but the times that I've called the sheriff has been when I'm had it up to here and I just can't handle it anymore because my head is pounding because of the beating of the bass. The sheriff tell me that they can tell them to turn it down, but without a Osnaburg Township noise ordinance, my hands are tied. I have to stay with the Osnaburg or with the Stark County ordinance, which is 11 p.m. And this music can go on from any time in the morning to 12 o'clock at night. And most of the time though, it's in the afternoon when I'm trying to enjoy my own property. I can't sit on my deck because of the noise. Can't enjoy my own pool because of the noise. It's just to the point where I don't know what else to do. If the county sheriffs can't help me, there's gotta be something else that could be done. He's a slumlord. I'm sorry to say that, but he is. So the people that are in there are always drug addicts or alcoholics. Year before these guys were in here, the current people, the lady killed her baby in there. These are the things that I have to put up with. Why should I have to put up with it? I pay my taxes on time. I take care of my property, but yet I'm getting run out of my own property. And I'm just up to what's end. So I'm asking for any help of what my rights are as a property owner. And whatever you guys can do, a suggestion wise, whether it be a zoning issue that we go after them for, or if there's anything we can do about a noise ordinance. I know Brenda told me this afternoon that it encumbers hearings to get a noise ordinance. And yes, I know there's an issue with the township because there is a lot of agricultural area. But if there could be something for the areas where just resident houses are, allotments, something to that effect to help residents out that have to go through this. Because I'm sure there has to be other residents in Osnaburg Township that have to put up with this too.
Sure. Shauna, when the sheriff comes out, do they enforce that 11 p.m. that's through Stark County?
Yes.
Okay,
Because the first time I called, it went on until after 11, and then the
Okay.
sheriff got there at 11:30, and it got turned off immediately.
sorry.
But it's
That's
like,
okay, so-
I'm just tired of every time I do have to call the sheriff,
No, I understand.
I get harassed by them or their family members. And that's why I'm afraid to leave my house. That's why I'm afraid to come home to my house, because I don't know what's waiting for me. I don't know what else to do. I mean, I'm to the point where I'm just begging for any help that I can get, any suggestions.
You said you had talked with an attorney. Did they come back with any suggestions for
The
you?
suggestion from the attorney was to come to you guys to write this up and to come to you guys to see if there's anything you could do, and then also to ask you guys if that section 8 is legally able to be there. I don't know how long he's had it as a section 8 house. I know it's his homestead that he grew up in.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long it's been collecting section 8 money. Now,
Well,
the
and
people that are there now might not be section 8 because these are the first couple that have jobs. Nobody else has ever had jobs.
Okay.
Shauna, since we spoke last, this was pretty recently, have you talked to the property owner?
No.
No, okay.
But he did, I don't know, did I tell you, he did come over there yesterday.
And drop some things off,
He-
brush or something?
Brought 3 truckloads of furniture and dumped off, and I heard him say, well, you're gonna have a lot to burn and it'll burn a long time.
He
So-
dropped it off at the property?
Yep, he dumped it right on the property, right by their fire pit,
This is the actual landowner.
the
Who's the
landlord.
property owner?
And I have pictures of it. I got pictures of him doing that. I've got pictures of the pile of it on my phone.
So Amy, is that something if they light it is a violation or?
So it depends on what it is. If it's just wood,
It's wooden furniture, but it looks like it could be painted or have varnish.
yeah, so that's not something they're gonna be able to just burn. And it depends too, we have some regulations on size, nothing can be trash, so that it will likely fall outside of that. But, I mean, we don't, if we get called, we'll come out. If we don't get
But
called.
we don't police for that,
Yeah,
Okay.
so
It's very
if someone
visible.
calls,
Yeah,
a neighbor calls, and it's not within our regulations, then we come out.
Yeah.
And if someone's not calling,
I have a feeling they'll burn it at night, because that's what they usually do after dark. They'll burn it so they can get away with stuff. But if I go out and let the dog out, sometimes I will see it. And
Yeah.
I know Bill has seen it also from
Yeah.
his house.
That shouldn't matter as far as getting the documentation on it, if it's burned at night.
I mean, they try to do it so
No, I know that, I
nobody can
mean,
report.
we'll be able to,
Is the fire department open 24/7? Somebody answers that phone call,
Oh,
the
Yeah.
non-emergency one?
dispatch does.
Yep.
Yeah, the 488-1515 dispatch answers.
have they done this, they burn all the time?
Before this couple moved in, they did that all the time. He would bring stuff, he's got like 40, 50 some rentals, and he cleans them out and he brings all the stuff there to dump and burn.
Shauna, and I don't know if this changes anything, but when there's loud music and partying, if you were to say, into the evening, is it just the home owners or the renters, or is it a pile of people?
It's the renters, and usually the renters, the girl's brother.
Okay, so small group, but,
Yep,
okay, so it's not 15 cars in the parking lot, but still loud music late to
the noise was probably 50 people, the noise that comes from.
And is it in the house that's radiating out, or is it in a car?
They have speakers on their back porch.
Okay.
That go down the hill onto my property.
Yep.
And it goes across the street to Bill's property.
Okay.
So one of the things I told her, it's possible, it has to go to our zoning commission and they can look into it, compare it to other townships. But it's not feasible for us to put that in on an entire township. But because class is an allotment, we have a few other allotments that are actually designated allotments. It is possible maybe to look at just putting the noise ordinance on the allotments. But that would be something that I'll talk to the zoning inspector who's on vacation and have her take it to that commission and have them start looking into it. Again, that's at least a 3 hearing process. And there's 45 days between, it's not anything that's gonna get fixed
Right,
quick.
understandable.
But, and then I also have her look into this section 8. I don't know the answer to that. And this is the first time. So Osnaburg Township is 96% rural residential, single family homes. We do have a few rentals in the township, but mostly it's homeowners, not rentals. And so we've never had this, we never knew this was in the township.
I've had section 8 usually can go anywhere, but they come out and inspect the house to be set up for section.
Section 8 has its own inspection team.
And they inspect yearly. And
Yeah, it should be inspected yearly if it's Section 8.
once the inspection's done for the year, it's
Yeah.
whatever it is for the next, unless the tenant would complain about the
About the
landlord.
quality of the house, yeah.
And so maybe that's an avenue that you could talk with your attorney, this particular address. Maybe he could make a complaint to the agency that's awarding that, possibly to not let it be, but you're saying these people may not be section.
They may
They
not
might
be.
not be.
They might not be,
yes.
yeah.
They might not be.
And you'd mentioned too, there are animals on the property, is that correct?
Yes, there's turkeys
Okay.
and a bunch of chickens.
Okay.
And I think she just got rabbits and so I know there's a building that they just brought in,
Okay.
a new chicken and turkey coop. It's quite large. 'Cause, I remember when we were getting along, they said they were gonna have something built. So it's quite large. And I didn't know if that needed to be permitted.
Was it drug in by a trailer and dropped down, or was it actually hammered together on site?
I was told that it was brought in on a truck.
Okay.
And it was somehow wheeled down with some type of a tractor unit that they had to
Yeah,
wheel it down and they shoved it off of that.
so it was a prefab.
Probably on skids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think it
supposedly the
matters.
Amish built it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But there is different regulations now under,
On the shed.
under agricultural, and we're not sure how much acreage, we thought it was over 2 acres.
I think it's maybe 2.5, something like that.
2.53.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll have to check again with the zoning inspector on what the new rules are, because I thought that they were letting small animals like down to an acre if they, but I do think they have to request a permit for it. As far as the building, even though it wasn't built there, it came in on skids, I still think there's a permitting process.
Even if they could clean up, I mean, they have the old chicken coop is still there and not cleaned up. And that's what was making all the stench that I'm getting every time it gets hot and humid. The stench just comes down onto my property. I can't even be out.
So that would be something that you could probably call directly to the Stark County Health Department and complain about, because if that is a vacated old chicken coop barn or whatever, that's gonna attract wild animals and rats, and that's something they have control over.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
But I will share that also. Our, when it's something like that, our zoning inspector is able to also reinforce there's a problem with this. This needs cleaned up.
Okay.
So we'll start looking into it and see what we can do. Again, we're very limited on what we can control.
I understand.
Um,
I'm just grasping for straws right now because my hands are tied. Can't afford to hire an attorney. I mean, I'm using my company's attorney for
Yeah.
advice. I mean, thank God my general manager is kind enough to do that. I mean, why should I have to spend my money to have my peace?
Right.
You know, it's just, It's, the laws just unfortunately are always for renters and anybody else that, doesn't pay the real estate taxes. And
Or
we
even if they
suffer.
don't pay the rent, they can still live there like 6 months before.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to
exactly.
get renters out. I am surprised that you've been getting such a response from the sheriff, because that usually takes much longer.
Well, I think, because the whole neighborhood has called the sheriff on that house for, like I said, the 30-some years, 34 years I've been there, because of all of the drug activity and the gun shooting and stuff like that. So they very much responded very quickly to us. We're very blessed for that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you have my
appreciate-
number, and I
Yes.
will follow up and see what I can get over to the zoning, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, I appreciate
Again,
you.
but that, what's gonna happen if there's a noise ordinance? You're gonna call the sheriff, they're gonna tell them to turn it down, that's all they're gonna do, and they're gonna
Right.
leave.
Yeah.
And it's
They
gonna
turn it back
happen, it's
up.
not gonna stop it.
Yeah, and that's, one thing good, positive, and I don't know if this is gonna continue or not, but since they were there last Sunday, yesterday or Saturday, they did have the music starting again. And, they ended up having it low enough that I did not hear the constant bing, boom, boom in my house. I was able to hear my TV above it, and they did turn it down, completely down, or not completely, but down enough. At 10:30 it was down. So I'm hoping that sheriff, because the sheriff, when I had called them out, I called him purposely to come to my house so that the sheriff could hear it at my back door, on my deck, and inside my house. And he said, I understand what you're talking about. But he said, unfortunately, I can't legally do anything but tell them to turn it down until 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that he was able to give them advice and it sunk in. And maybe Saturday was the start of it. I hope to God, I pray to God
Yeah.
that is
Yeah, hope
a
so,
new
hope so.
beginning.
Okay.
All right, we'll keep in
Thank
tune
you,
with us.
John.
Okay.
Thanks.
If there's anything I can do with zoning to help, if you want to try to go for a noise ordinance, I'd be happy to help out any way I can
Okay,
and assist in that.
All right.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to David Busey.
Okay. I'm here on behalf of my brother that passed away a couple years ago in this house fire up there in East Canton. Okay, I want to know who called the excavator in to tear down the house that wasn't even burning.
So we did, the fire department did, the
I
fire,
know the fire department
Okay.
did. Who ordered that? Because I lost my brother's ashes in there.
Yep.
And a lot of property's still in there.
Yep.
And half the house wasn't even on fire.
so at the point that we called the excavator, there was smoke coming out, so the whole front at that point had also been involved. The problem was that the fire load underneath that back porch was where we couldn't get the fire out, no matter how much water we were putting on that. So the excavator was initially called in to pull some of that out so that we could wet that down and continue to work on putting the fire out. We
Yeah,
then
but
got-
half the floor in the front room and the bed wasn't burnt, the rug in the bedroom wasn't burnt, the bathroom wasn't burnt. And they tore down all the
Yes.
walls around the front.
Yes,
And I lost my brother's ashes in there.
yes,
And we lost 3 safes in there.
yes.
So this is the estimate right now to get that mess cleaned up.
Okay,
One's for 13,500, the other one's for 16,500. And I gotta go, when these guys, whoever they pick, I gotta go up there and have them sift through everything to see if my brother's ashes is still in his box. Because they caved everything in into the basement
Yep.
on the front room that wasn't even burned. Why was that happening?
So because we had gotten to a point where it would have been unsafe to leave the walls up, so leaving them up would have caused collapse at some point, which.
I don't think so, because half the floors wasn't even burnt. Half the floors and the walls on that building, the house, wasn't even burnt.
So it,
We already went through this with the insurance company. They don't understand why you guys got an excavator there and tore down all the walls in the front of the house.
would you,
That's what we wanna know.
would you be able to have the insurance company call? I would be willing to talk to the insurance company.
They already understand. They don't understand why you guys did this.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. I'm willing to talk to the insurance company.
Well, I don't know what they're gonna say here because they told me it shouldn't have happened.
Well, but you got a situation with houses on both sides. They're trying to make decisions
Well-
to say they don't, it could go the
And
other way
just
and
know
hurt the
that
other
the
house
siding
too.
on that house and the siding on the other house,
Correct.
none of everything in the front wasn't burnt. The bedroom, the bathroom, nothing was burnt. Everything was caved in down in the basement because of the escalator. And it just don't make no sense. Why the whole front of the house got tore down, the front porch, everything. You know,
Amy, was the fire completely out when that happened, or was it?
and it started in the garage and it worked its way up. And why couldn't you guys, we had 7 fucking fire departments up there, right?
Yeah, 6 or 7, yeah.
Okay, why couldn't that been put out then?
The fire was already pretty advanced when we got there.
Yeah, how long did it take you to get there?
I would have to look at our dispatch notes, but from the time of call until we came, I would have to.
Yeah, well, the neighbors said they called, they said it took you about an hour to get there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you're only, what, 3/4 mile down the road?
Yeah, we have the calls and the times.
Yeah.
Things are willing, things were willing to get.
What is up
to.
with that? 3/4 mile down the road. And then I had people, neighbors tell me that Louisville was doing more than your fire department did. So
I
you,
haven't seen the
you
call.
tell me. I want a report on everything from day one, what time was and how many fire departments there. That way, I want to give to the attorney and go from there.
That's,
No excuses.
no, I'm just telling you, that's standard policy to have multiple departments on a situation.
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
but it took them how long to get down there that fucking 3/4 mile?
I don't know, I haven't seen the call logs. I'd have to see the call logs.
Well, that's what I want to report on too, so I can give it to the attorney.
So you are able to request that entire fire report from us,
Everything,
that
from
fire
who,
report, Yep. we have-
everything. All the fire departments, from you guys, how long it took you to
Yep.
get there and everything.
And yep, all of that would be in the fire report.
Okay, I want to send to my house.
Amy, how does he have to do to request that?
So I need either an email or a person to come up to the station. Is anybody? able to
Well,
come
I'll
get
give
it?
you an address and you send it to me.
We can do that.
I do have one thing to say, because I know I'll be next.
This is his
This is my
mother's
This
house.
is my mom's house.
Yep.
And thing is too, they told me when these guys showed up, there was only 2 people on the truck.
That's our normal.
Why is that? That don't make sense. When
That's what we.
you
staff
guys
with.
are supposed to be volunteers
We're
or
not.
fully staffed.
We are not fully staffed.
with 2
Plus-
people.
Okay, then why was there 2 people on the truck then when they showed up to the
There
fire?
were 2 people.
Louisville, I heard neighbors say Louisville did more people,
Exactly.
did
So they
more
staff with
stuff.
4 people.
Louisville has
We
more-
staff with
Louisville has
2,
more staff.
Louisville
That's
staff
why
with
whenever when there's a structure fire, it's called a tone out. It tones out us and then it tones out multiple
Here's
departments.
the
Yeah,
thing.
but the thing is,
It started with a gas fire. Where was the foam truck or somebody had foam to put it
So
out?
our foam is out of service on our engine.
Well,
Okay, then why don't
you
you question
people
it, then it's
need
you
to
guys'
get,
fault, got my mom's house burnt completely down.
you need to get the foam truck situated for a garage fire. Cause anytime there's a garage fire, it's usually gasoline, right?
It's under repair.
And just don't give me, it has to be done. You guys are just playing games here.
And the thing is too, they had multiple trucks on scene that had foam in their trucks. Multiple trucks.
You know,
Why not want to use the foam?
my sister-in-law lost her husband a couple years ago. We gotta go wait now until the estimate for these guys come in and clean, till we can dig it and find if this box is still there.
And half the house was not on fire, because I got pictures of the night the house was on fire. Only half of the house was on fire, was where the garage was and up. The
So,
bedroom, like my uncle said, the bedroom, the living room, and everything like that, in the bathroom was not on fire. There
At
was
this
no
point-
flames coming out.
they need to request the report. We'll also do the thing. We've not seen the report, but we'll get it and read it too. And then we'll speak with the fire departments. We can't answer your questions because we don't know at this point.
Oh,
Then
We'll
another
get the
question I have,
information.
then another question too, what's this commercial zone crap that we can't build in East Canton on all property if you own the property?
I don't know what you're
Right,
talking
yeah, we
about.
don't know what you're.
Oh, okay.
Did you talk to somebody?
Who
or-
told you that you can't build on your property?
Oh, multiple people, half the neighbors down there. My neighbor next door, they told him that he couldn't build on his property, but he can build around his house.
Who are you talking about? Is this a county person or
No, it's
No.
multiple people that lives in the neighborhood,
what official told you you couldn't build?
the neighbors.
Yeah.
Your neighbors
that-
are
it- it
One of the
goes through our
neighbors
zoning
told me
board.
that.
Listen, that ain't nothing to do with this. This, what I wanna know. I want a report sent to me, paperwork, whatever, sent to my address, so I can turn it in the attorney. And
Osnaburg's getting a big lawsuit against them.
because
You just need to
we're,
request it formally to the fire department and it will be sent to you.
I can do
Yeah.
a paper copy of it.
I'll just come up to
because
the.
right here,
Tomorrow,
what I just sent down to
So
the
it'll
insurance
need to be
company
a
to
date
clean
I
up
can
that
access
mess.
it.
Right. You
Yeah.
can
Give me a
request
day
the
to go out
report
and get up there and
and
get-
we'll look at it
Okay,
also.
I'll have to look at the
and see.
schedule, because there's only
Just
certain people.
so
that
you
can
know,
access all
Louisville
of
is a
it.
full-time fire department.
Yeah.
We are not a full-time fire department.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just wondering why 3/4
You're
of a mile.
talking about my email?
Yes.
Because we're not a full-time fire department. We're a part-time staff as much as we can. We try to staff 24 hours. The most we ever have there is 2 people.
It don't make
So-
sense.
It's
Louisville,
Louisville
Lions,
is full-time
they got full-time and they'll always
Right.
fire there.
because they're
But it don't make
full-time.
sense why 2 people show up on the truck. When a Lions come out to a fire, they have 4 guys on the truck.
Yes, because they're
These
full-time.
guys, yeah,
We're not-
what's she say, no full-time too?
We do
We
not
do
have.
not have full-time.
Well,
Then once you
here,
make it full-time, then well, you have more people on the truck. So it's
We
just,
can't afford, we don't have the funding for it.
shut up, man.
they shut the fire department down, didn't have us, Louisville come out.
Shut up, man.
Because I did talk to one of the Louisville fire departments that night.
Well,
They run more calls for these guys than anybody.
They are.
Because these guys can't run squad calls.
Well, hush a minute, let me finish. All right, here's the deal. I want a full printout of every fire department that was up there at the house, and I'll turn in an attorney and let them deal with it in the insurance
I
company,
just see all the papers.
okay?
That's fine.
So
Because
everything that he needs
this
to be in that
just
report.
ain't right. Why half that house got destroyed by an excavator that nothing got burned,
Thank you.
okay? Now we gotta dig through when these, whatever the guys bring up there, that I gotta go up there and dig, and see if I can find my brother's ashes,
I hope you find them.
you know?
Uh,
That
Well, we would have
that's
found
what
them if they
this-
wouldn't have brought the excavator in.
pisses me off more than anything, because that part of the house wasn't even burnt. He just collapsed everything. My brother had He worked 8 years on a 70, kit car with the butterfly doors. He spent 8 years working on that car. He had like $10,000 in that car. It melted. It completely down. The insurance won't take care of it. You know,
Yeah.
that was his pride and joy.
And on top of that, the excavator destroyed some of the stuff that I told him that I wanted out of the garage when the fire
Yeah.
was put out.
Yeah, they picked up the toolboxes, slammed it over there, and took the other part of the kit car, slammed it over there. You know,
Yeah,
there was no reason for that.
yeah, there was no reason for them to bring the excavator out and do what they did.
You know, there was no reason for any of that.
Well, like I said, you fill out for a full records request and we'll provide any records that we have on this call. We have nothing.
I want everything from whatever fire department was up there, everything. And
Maybe
go
they
from
have
there.
to, they have to go to each fire department to get a record.
So if they would want another request from another department, that would need to come from them. Our report would have everybody that was there. Someone
I
may,
want your report
Yep.
from everybody that was there and the time you showed, you
Yep.
got.
We got an email, we'll have Jason get
for the
a request.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll
I
get
will be
Jason
able to get that to you.
You've got it, you've got everything you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, she gave us an email.
I did.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, if you
Okay.
send it, I'll be able to
Like
get
I
all of
said,
that.
I'm not happy with this ordeal, you know.
Oh, I can imagine.
We haven't read the report yet. I'm not
No,
trying,
even
I'm not
the
trying to play
insurance-
games with you. I can't answer the information I don't have.
Even the insurance company has asked me what the fuck was going on.
Even the fire marshals asked us too, why
Yeah.
they brought the excavator in.
So I want things wrote out and printed out or whatever. And I'll have the attorney look it over and the insurance company.
And,
Yeah.
and like I said, you're welcome to have them contact me. I'm more than
Yeah,
willing to
it
talk to
just-
the insurance company. They can do that.
Right now, my sister-in-law, she's got, what is it, Huntington's
Huntington's
disease?
disease and stuff and
And we're trying to get her set up to where she's gonna be in a hospice or something, they take care of her because she can't take care of herself now. You know,
hospice assisted living.
assisted living, yeah. So,
Well, the whole thing's a tragedy. I mean, yeah,
Keep contacting.
I'm sorry, we're all sorry for your house. I mean, nobody wants anything bad to happen.
you know, I just, something's gonna do right, but we're trying to get the place cleaned up and sell the property sooner or later, once it's cleaned up and reseeded, you know. But this don't make no sense of what happened. And that's what pisses me off is having an escalator come up there and tearing the rest of the house down.
Well, like I said, put in for the records request. We're here to work with you. But like I said, let's start there first. Let's get the records. Let's get the request out and get the records first, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, we'll get this
Yep, send it.
in process and go from there.
yeah, we'll get Jason to do it.
Yeah,
All right.
all right.
Thank
you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Good
time.
luck. Hopefully you
Sorry,
find your brother's ashes.
Thanks.
You need to express what,
Huh?
I said you need to express what's going on.
Yep, thank you.
I know, it's been building up.
Okay.
So I do have one more question.
Yes, sir.
If I decide to build on the property, am I allowed building back on the property? This is what I want to know.
Everything goes, I don't know about the area, but everything goes to our zoning inspector. That'd be the person. She handles all housing permits, any permits that for building. So and she's on vacation tonight, unfortunately, but that's who you need to talk to. But
Yeah, like I said, I had multiple people in the neighborhood there where my mom lives at, told me that I couldn't build because it was commercial zone. And the neighbor beside us, he told me the same thing.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
When you
It's not
say, when you
restrictions.
say build, is it a rebuild or are you asking something different or?
I would, if I decide to keep the property, I would like to just put a double wide on it, all one floor for my mom. Then put like a small garage underneath everything. That's basically what I want to do. I don't want to build a bigger house like it was. I just want,
But even if it is, maybe not your situation, even if there's a zoning issue, we have a what they call BZA, Boarding Zone of Appeals. You can always appeal to have what do they call it?
A variance,
A
something
variance.
different than what the
Yeah.
rules say.
So if somebody's telling you can't build it, you need to talk to the zoning inspector first. That's where you get your factual information.
Sometimes we'll give permission to build and for instance, the septic won't pass and that'd be a county thing. So sometimes you can't build on the property because the land's too small and the septic can't fit,
well,
so,
see, the
Yeah.
septic tank on there now, if, when they do cleanup, they don't tear it all up.
Yeah.
The septic's still good on the property.
Okay.
And the
Right.
well's still good.
okay.
But it's just, like I said, I'm getting multiple people tell me that it's commercial zone,
No, I
it's this, it's that.
Per our map, it's residential.
It's pretty good. Without going through all this stuff, but it's probably a better chance that you will be able to build than not.
Yeah.
I would say.
Because if I decide to put back in the property, all I'm going is put a double wide on, and that's it.
So a double wide, you're gonna set it on a basement foundation.
Yeah, pretty much,
Then you're okay.
yeah. Because it's all gonna be one floor, so. for
Right,
my
because
mom.
there are regulations for like mobile homes and all that different type, but if you're putting it on a permanent foundation,
That's,
you're fine.
Yeah, well, because when the house was built,
it's got a step down.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, pretty much like a hill and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be like a garage stuff inside.
A good friend of mine lived in that house in high school. And I know that house really well. I know that house really well. We
My
spent a
dad-
lot of time in that house.
Yeah, me and my dad put a lot of money into that house, a
I'm
lot
sorry.
of money.
I'm
So
sorry.
if you ever have any questions, the best person
Yeah,
to
call
reach
her.
out to is Mary Brocker, our zoning inspector. She's
You
got,
guys got a card with her name on it?
The door has her name. Doesn't the door? Take a picture with your phone. I think the door has her name on it, doesn't
I
it?
don't have her number.
They don't have a
Oh, it doesn't
number,
have a
just
number.
as a township.
On the front door where you came in, it's on there.
Just
Mary's number's on there.
Oh,
Yeah, it's on the front door.
And leave her a message and she will get back to you.
Her name's Mary?
Mary, yep.
I do appreciate it,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.
thank you. You sure you don't want to speak?
Got a lot to say. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah. Fire is just a tough situation, bad all the way around.
It's hard.
What you need to get Robo-E. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, let's move to the fire report.
255 has been repaired. We have it back. I turned that in to fiscal officer Lowry. We are responsible for the $250 deductible on that. But that is back. It is back in service. I'm going to skip around here for just a minute. We have about 800 feet of 4-inch supply line that we replaced with that. It's now all sorts. So it is just sitting there. I've actually reached out to Stark State. They were looking for some hose, so I would like the approval to basically decommission that 800 feet of supply line. It's 20-some plus years old. And if Stark State wants it, I would give it to Stark State, and if not, we can just make it disappear. I don't have serial numbers, but I can get those to Brian.
Is this hose that we've replaced?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like the original supply line from when
Yeah.
I first started 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Need a motion?
Just what you want to do is motion if you're going to take it out of service. And then where would you say, Amy, start?
Stark State had said they were paying for some hose. I'm not positive if supply line is something they want or not. I've reached out to them. If not, we can just make it
Disappear.
disappear.
Okay.
It's not all at one time. Trash man won't like us. It's heavy stuff.
Trustee Bureau moves to decommission 800 feet of 4-inch supply line and offer the first opportunity to start State Fire School.
Trustee Varian second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
The second thing is I have talked some to fiscal officer Lowry. We've talked about revamping our uniform policy in a couple of different ways. One, to make some monies available for our new personnel, partially because we don't really have anything set aside for them even to buy like a t-shirt, which is what they wear on duty. And so we would like to kind of look at that and revamp and see what might work better at the uniform policy. So we'd like to look at that.
Okay.
Trustees, when I talked to Amy about this, when this was first started, it was started years ago when wages were real low, and it was an incentive to help them with their uniforms, like their everyday stuff that
Sure.
they got on top of turnout gear.
Like a
So,
street clothes.
street clothes, like their
Yeah.
shirts, their pants, work boots, and a hat.
Okay.
So it was just something that we were just starting to talk about, but to make it easier, there's always a budget that I have between $4,000 and $5,000 for reimbursement and for uniforms. And usually we use they'll turn in just about all that each year, between all of them. But I was looking at a way to make it easier because some of the new people, they get turnout gear, but they don't get any.
They don't get the Osnaburg t-shirt
They
to
don't
wear on
get all
call.
that.
Yeah.
And then
okay.
existing firefighters that are there, a way of getting their gear or their everyday clothes, like maybe a set a year or 2 sets, depending on the cost. That's the thing that has to be determined. If it's a few $100s, I know work boots, a couple pairs of pants, a couple of shirts, it might be $300 or $400.
Okay.
Not more. So those are the kind of things we need to look into. As long as we stay within that budget, it can work and make the uniform allowance simpler. That's what we're looking at.
So right now, I'm a new one. I show up. I have turnout gear that I need to order that comes out of a different account.
If we don't have something that already fits you,
Yeah.
And then I say I want a t-shirt that's got Osnaburg on it. How do I get that right
you
now?
go pay for it, babies, out of pocket.
And then out of that $5,000 account gets reimbursed?
Well,
No,
at
That
first,
that does not,
Okay.
see, the way the existing
Okay.
uniform, they have to build up time.
correct. And they wouldn't have.
So they get
hours.
credit, the credits.
So I've basically told people,
Okay.
go buy one shirt, wear that until you have hours to have a uniform allowance.
Got it.
And we essentially had a new guy that went to babies and got the zip up that we do give them, which he's obviously not gonna wear in July. Got the zip up and was like, well, I bought a t-shirt, here's the receipt. And I was like, yeah, well, you can't buy that for you. At which point I was like, we need to figure this out because
They did.
So,
I did, trustees, that one receipt, the shirts and different things like that. I did let Amy know that she could bring that in front of the board and get some
And
of
we
these
could just
things
get approval
approved
for
just
that.
initially. Or we could go to the vendor and you could okay that vendor expense, even though it isn't part of their time yet. You
Okay.
all could do that.
well, that's what I was confused about. He has $200 per the spreadsheet Sue sent. He has plenty enough money in his account.
When did she
pay
send
for
it to you? Because at the time that all was done, that one, there wasn't at that time.
Recently, but
Yeah.
it wasn't, the date on this is 6/21, so it wasn't, he has $200, so it would be his money.
I don't know
anyway.
without talking to her, because I was thought you were referring to the ones that people turned in a long time ago, like
No,
6 months ago.
This one here that you sent me at 11 cents for $162, he has that money.
There was one where the note on the original
Mm-hmm.
receipt didn't say that on what I had. That's something I put
Okay.
on there, that little note there.
Yeah.
That was just that,
Because
I
that
need
one
approval.
confused me, because I wasn't sure why he had that money, so I wasn't sure why that one was an issue.
well, that is also not a vendor I'm
Yeah,
used to.
that one,
That's a key thing.
Yeah.
If they go outside of our normal vendor, I can't just write a check and prepare here. I gotta have an approved vendor.
so let's chat about this. The three
Yes.
of us talk
Yep.
about what our newbies have access to as far as like street gear.
Sounds good.
Right.
Yeah, let's look at
And
that.
the only other thing I'd be
Yeah.
concerned, like we hired the one guy and he.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there has
Sure.
to be a little bit of time there.
And I'm okay with that, and I'm also okay with, we have had in the past where we've said, we give you this stuff, and if you leave within this amount of
You
time.
pay
Give it back to us.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not back.
Something, yeah.
So we have
Okay.
done that in the past, like
Alright.
we've set a time that if you're not here for a certain period of time, then the stuff we bought for you
Yeah.
pay for. We've done that, so I don't have an issue doing that either if we're
Okay.
doing this.
Eventually.
The other thing I have on the agenda is the pump for 249. I know we had talked about it.
Yes.
Partially, Captain Adams is that he would like to offer it out for somewhere else if we are not interested in purchasing the pump for 249.
Brian, on the funds side of things, I know we just moved 20,000. On the fund side on the fire, where are we looking? Will we be able to cover, what remind me, 31,
51,
51?
Are we saying 51?
5,100, yeah.
Yeah. And this machine also has foam, right?
It does. It has the capability to do foam.
So just as a recap, the insert has been rebuilt by Dan and has a Honda motor. We've done some kind of spec change. One of the biggest concerns for the tank that's in the grass truck now is its capacity. It's great that there's a lot of water, but there's a lot of water. It's at the bump stops when it's full. And because there's no baffle, it can't really travel when it's not full because it'll push it through the intersection. I don't know if being a dually truck it would help, but for whatever reason, we have what we have. It's a single wheel truck, 3,500 or F350. So that was one of the bigger concerns, and then the flow, the hose flow as well is way larger of a PSI coming out of the hose nozzle. The hose,
On the current one,
the one that we're looking to buy would be
has a higher PSI.
more of a fire grade. Hoses will all work. Inserts pretty simple, very little hookup. It will ratchet strap into the truck just like the one we have now. So it just kind of depends on if we want to make that move to that or have Dan put it for sale.
And why were we wanting to make the move? Because the other one doesn't put out enough?
So the weight being one of the issues, the other one being the amount of water we can get out of it
And we can get more out of the new one.
at a time, yes. So it would have more.
The
PSI.
capacity, the water
Yeah.
capacity is less. The PSI at the end of the nozzle.
It can
higher.
put it out quicker.
Correct.
And you think this is more of a benefit than what we currently have?
So when that goes out, then the tank truck goes with it?
So we would, yeah. If we need more water that's in it, we would take the tanker truck out, yeah, and it
And
would
is
hook
it
into
able
that.
to
And
hose
it
hook
draws,
up?
Yes.
this does draw line on it.
Yes.
How long will this new unit spray if you just had it there?
With just the amount of water that's in it. Depends on how many gallons we're flowing. Without the tanker truck, I don't have an answer because it just depends on how many gallons per minute we're flowing.
How many gallons does it hold?
Oh,
I don't remember.
The new one.
Oh,
I know,
no, the new one. It's less than what's in it now, but I can't remember. Sorry. I had this before.
I know.
Apologize. This has been spread over a couple meetings. I'm sorry.
Because prior, when that old one was in, I had residents that had fires that questioned that.
Yeah,
They were
there wasn't a lot of
concerned
water.
about it.
About the less water.
Because they ran out
Yeah,
on fires.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yep.
And
This is a grass fire truck insert factory built. So
So the one that he's selling is one that's factory built.
it's a factory built.
The one that was in there, I thought we just sort of piecemeal.
we
built-
put it
built
together.
that. Well,
Yeah.
not we.
Yeah, again, not me.
Not me.
Yes, but it was something we put together.
Yeah.
And Brian, do we have the money to make the change?
Before I answer that, Amy, is there a warranty on this?
No, it's a used part.
I mean,
I mean, as soon as we get it.
the
it's-
warranty
yeah.
being that Captain Adams can fix it, but I mean, I don't have a specific warranty.
the motor's brand new, the pump.
What's that?
The pump's brand new, you said?
The
Oh,
pump's
no.
rebuilt.
The pump is completely rebuilt.
Trustees,
By who?
to
Dan.
answer your question on
Yeah.
funds, the fire fund does not have enough appropriated money or enough money to buy this at 5,000. I thought maybe 2,000 or 3,000, I can make it work. We do have enough in all the soft billing that I could take a little out of each one to make it work if you'd like to do that. But you do not have enough to go 5,100. It's gonna cut us too short to get to the end of the year and not have any additional, or I pull it from the uniform allowance that has 4,000 in it. I was just looking at all the line items, like I can move money around to a certain point, but I'm worried about, we're just now, the fire fund is starting to build right where it needs to be, and I don't want to drain it, but our soft billing funds are healthy.
What's a new insert cost?
We looked that up.
We did look that up. I don't even want to ask Dan, but would Dan be willing to take this money over time?
And what would it cost to get this to phone capability?
So it's capable.
Or I
of
mean,
doing foam.
to spray foam, what are we looking at to make it spray foam?
Putting foam in it.
Yeah, it's
It has a foam
It has
cell.
its own foam
It's
cell.
plumbed to do foam.
So you just gotta add the foam,
Add the foam.
nothing else.
Yeah.
It's got a separate
It
tank.
has a secondary tank for the foam and it's plumbed in.
Why do I want to think 25 to 28?
That's what I feel. I was gonna say 25.
25 to 28 is what we found. And there's a couple of different brands, of course, and different specs. Since we're short on the funds, if we want to do this, I wonder if Dan would be willing to take small payments over the next couple months, right? Not
So
like
it-
stretch them out.
If you were gonna do that, payment, I would say it isn't really small, and maybe you did 25.
And then wait for 2 months and do.
Yeah, wait till like October, when the last shot of the real estate money would come in. That the last advance of that comes in the last week or two of September, first week of October. I can get a better picture if I can shift any line item funds around by that time. But I personally, as fiscal officer, I'd rather see you do it out of the soft billing. They're healthy. When I say healthy,
Oh, okay.
we haven't been pulling out of that
Because we've been using the new.
we've been using the new
Yeah.
So Amy,
fire
is
to
this
do-
something that you're recommending that you want, that you feel you need to have?
I do feel like it would be better than what we currently have, and I don't love the fact that the truck is so heavy. Like currently we get it stuck more than I would prefer. It is super heavy. It is heavier than it should be really for that truck currently is the problem. And we had talked about different tires, we had talked about different springs, things like that. That doesn't necessarily seem to be something we can do right now. So this would at least alleviate some of that weight. We've also had issues where, I mean, there's just not much volume coming out of those hoses. And so this would be able to have more volume. Again, yes, Trustee Piro was right. We would then likely need to bring out the tanker truck or something else to have more water. But we're only talking a couple 100 gallons different.
No, the only concern I am is because of the residents that said something,
Yeah.
that came to the attention
Yeah.
before, that, I just don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. Water's always going to be an issue wherever we are. I mean,
But-
water was an issue
For the
that
Oh,
night.
yeah.
For the history, though, the one that's in it now is way better than the one that was in it before, because it was also homemade. And the one that was in it
Yes.
before that is at Indian Run Church, and
That's
that
from the old truck.
that was
but
from the
yes.
old truck.
The one that was in it before now came from Rural King, was
Yes.
a garden
That's
water.
right.
Yes.
It wasn't, that we had no fire in there.
Right. So the progression is we had a real commercial built fire equipment
In the
insert.
old truck.
In the old truck.
That was never in this truck.
It got sold to Indian Run, who
Yes.
waters their flowers.
Yes.
Then we went to an insert that was
Yes.
not right, and then we built
Correct.
a better
Yes.
mousetrap. And now we're trying to buy the right insert,
Yes.
though that it's used.
Yes.
Okay, that just gives us a little progression. How long have we had that grass truck? Bought it new, so it's probably 15 years old.
Oh, no.
Say no, it's
It's
not
on
15.
Maybe 5.
No, it's more than
It's
that.
over
It was
10.
Dan was still the chief, so
I think it's like
Call it
05
10,
or something.
05? 05 would be 10 years.
no.
Because
No, no,
we
no,
bought it
no,
when I was,
no, 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 no.
we bought it when I was here, and I'm only in my 10th year.
Okay. So
Oh, okay, there you go.
yeah,
So it's less than 10.
it's Yeah, it is probably less than 10. It was
So
one of the
less than
last
10.
things we
Okay.
did before Dan left. and he
So
left in
if it's 2014, it's probably a
2016.
14-year model.
15.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
All right.
at this point, my opinion is that we just go ahead and put in the one that's supposed to be there, get rid of the other one. And we should be able to sell that one and get some money back on it to help reduce this cost.
Yeah, the tank and the pump all has value.
Yeah.
The hoses will be reused
Yes.
And then take it out of the soft building and just pay it all up.
and then
front
pay
now.
back the soft filling whenever we get out of the tank. And the pump-
Yeah, put it back into soft building.
You're better off just to, when you take it out of soft billing, that's gonna go out of this year's budget, which will be okay. But as far as paying it back, it isn't like you pay it back. You just wait till the soft billing goes up throughout the rest of the year or in the next year.
Okay.
Because usually soft billing right now, I had budgeted that we would receive 100,000 in the resident one and 20,000 in non-resident. And we're only $26,000 away from the resident of getting there. And at that rate, we should exceed
What you're, yeah,
what
last year's.
I did. So
I think what
that's-
we're saying, we just want to keep the money that it brings from selling it in the fire.
Back in,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whatever
That would
fire
go back
count.
into the fire.
Do,
Yeah.
is it, can you legally pay a staff member a check outside of payroll?
Yes,
Okay,
because he would have, being it's over $599,
yeah,
I'll have to give him a 1099 unless he has a company or a company name.
Right.
He'll get a 1099.
okay, I wondered about that, because you have to
Because
you
it's
can't
a-
just write him a check and it never happens.
It's a personal
Yeah.
thing
Yeah,
because
it's 1099.
you can reimburse
Okay.
someone as long as they're giving you a.
That's not 1099,
an
yeah,
invoice.
we're purchasing an item.
Yeah.
So you don't have any problem writing it to Dan Adams, we're just gonna 1099 it.
And another thing,
Okay.
Amy, you might want to tell Dan, however this is, he might have so much in parts, so much in labor. The labor part is what's the 1099 stuff.
Oh, he can split that apart, yeah.
There hasn't been any.
Well, I
Every
mean-
bit of that is.
I mean, his cost of that, whatever,
Yeah.
5,100.
Yeah.
Maybe he had
Yeah.
rebuilt stuff, parts and stuff that he can show it. Here's all my
If he has
invoice.
$400 of his own money in parts, he could set that aside.
Yeah, he can
So the 1099 is not high.
Because the
Got it.
1099 is going to reflect his labor.
Okay.
Okay,
So
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and purchase the new insert for the fire truck from Mr. Adams at 5,100.
trustee Varian second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Last,
It
oh,
is
sorry.
a 5,100 exact.
5,100?
Yes.
Yep, that's what we talked about.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Last thing I have, Tyler Holm had asked to go to a fire inspector class at Tri-C. We had actually approved for him twice in the past to go to classes that got canceled.
Yeah.
Okay,
So there's a class. Hopefully they're gonna run it. It's at Tri-C in September. He had sent me those dates. The cost of that class is $700. We've obviously allocated money for this a couple of times and not gone through with it. So
do we currently have any fire inspectors on our team?
we do. We have one.
One.
Assistant Chief Ruskin is our only
Oh, that's right,
inspector
'cause he does.
currently.
He does Louisville
And
too.
it would be extremely beneficial for us to have someone.
Does will we get a bill before or after he goes to this class? Because you got to pay up front.
So they will invoice us. Tri-C, it's usually right at the beginning, but if they were to cancel that class for any reason, they reimburse it, which is what Stark State did, which is what previous times.
Okay. All right, trustee Varian moves to have Tyler Palm go to, is it fire inspector training?
Yes,
At the tune of, how much you say,
$700.
$700?
Trustee Puro seconds. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thanks for being willing to do that. That'd be great to have you on with that.
He's been willing. We just gotta find a class that they're
Yeah.
actually running.
Just had a nice long talk with Mr. Yoder the other day in Louisville, trying to get a fire inspection passed over there.
Right. We have 57 calls. Obviously, it's been a longer time since our last meeting. You can see all the numbers. I mean, we did have 6 calls from Louisville, or 6 assists from Louisville. I did look, 4 of those were second calls, meaning like our squad was
It's already out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I do want to let you know that the call down to Mayor Honesty's place
Yes.
She called me the next day and just raved about the firefighters that were there, the
Oh, great.
EMS, and how well they did.
Okay.
And she
Okay.
didn't recognize, I know she said there was like a younger girl.
Yep.
So do you know who those, just let them know that
I will.
she has said how well and was very pleased with all
Okay.
that they did.
Okay. Great. I like those.
Compliments
are
are few and far between in this room, so we're gonna just take all of it in.
They did
real
a great
quick.
job.
Great.
Whenever, I'm just curious, so on the, whenever you get the report on this house
Yeah.
fire, that will tell how do they know when you arrive?
So all of our dispatch times are in there. I can tell you, I mean, not off the top of my head, I could pull up the report, and tell you what that en route time was. I also have the dispatch call, the
Isn't it
fire
like
marshal.
2.5 minutes.
Well, I
You
mean,
were there
however long
quick.
it took for them to tone us and then us drive out there.
It
So
was
there
fast.
wasn't a delay.
I didn't figure, I just
Yeah.
wondered how they.
But so our dispatch, like they have the time that they toned us out and then they have the time that we got there. So they would have all of those times. I don't know the times off the top of my head. I feel like 6 is the right number, but I will look that up. I can assure you. it was
But we weren't an hour getting there.
No, in fact, that's something I can actually look up just sitting here. If you want me to look that time up for you, I can do that. I can
No,
also
no, I
send
just-
you that report. Like fire reports are.
The gentleman that were here tonight said that they spoke to the fire marshal. Would the fire marshal have given them a report?
So the fire marshal was who did our investigation. We don't have any investigators, so we
Right.
just kick that to the fire marshal, and that's who would determine like cause
Cause.
and things like that. So he would have a report, and they or their insurance company can request that report from him as well, and that would just say like the cause of the fire is undetermined.
Do you get a copy of that?
You get one too?
I don't, but I can.
I
get
would
it.
request it.
I can.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have that
Yeah.
for us on file.
Yep.
And then they also give you reports of when neighbors call 911, correct?
Yeah, we have that reporting.
So you have neighbors like, hey, you probably should come out to this fire. Okay.
So
I think that's important in this conversation.
Yep.
Because I think they
Yeah.
fought on the Card Hills for a long time.
The only other thing I question was,
Yeah.
not question, but when was the excavator brought in? Was it to say that night, the next
Yep.
day?
It was that night. It was a few hours into the fire when we were basically just chasing it around the house.
Okay.
And so we initially brought it in to just pull out everything under the deck.
You know, so.
And then we did bring it around the front. So leaving those walls unsupported is just a bad decision. And so at that point, we pushed it inward to make it so those walls just weren't standing there. And we were out a few more times to put more water on that. With that much fire load and that kind of a fire, we just end up out there. So we were. But I can get that time for you.
Nobody was in the house prior to when you guys
They were
arrived?
all out when we got there. Everybody was out.
No, whenever you arrived to the scene
Oh.
and started fighting fire, to the time that the excavator showed
Mm-hmm.
up, there was nobody in the house.
So we did initially send a crew in through the front door to try and push the fire back from the front door. And the floor wasn't sound. So like when they go into a fire, they sound to make sure that floor will support them to go in. And it wasn't good. And so at that point, we pulled everybody back out of the
Okay.
structure.
I'm just,
Yep.
per some comments made, I just wanted to
Yep.
state it.
I will look up those times after that. Do you need more from me or am I able to? Okay.
Yeah, one more.
The,
Oh, the grant.
the ambulance grant,
Ambulance grant.
which one? There's two of
There's
them.
two.
$20,000 Ohio ambulance grant has been distributed to the fire.
Yeah, that's complete now, right, Ryan?
That's the completed one we
That's-
approved last year.
Yeah.
That was distributed to the firefighters that were as a retention bonus, the ones that were in that timeline that was set. Your number B, the new Ohio ambulance grant, I had requested another $20,000. They approved $6,960. Because
That's
so many
new money.
people, that's
New
new
money.
money.
Yep.
And
Okay.
what I would ask the trustees to do is if you, we have to use it very similar, the same way, with the same crew. You can't bring, it sounds bad because the new people can't get this money. It
Yeah.
has to do with the people that were
It's
there
still
through that time frame.
American
But
Rescue.
they must have had extra money, I'm gonna assume, when they offered it. So I didn't know how you wanted to go about it. A rough estimate between 18 firefighters, if you did another quarterly payment, that would be around $500 and some dollars. I didn't do exactly it, but $500 and some dollars a piece. You could wait till the next quarter end, so say October, that would be something that I could pay out and utilize that money for that.
Brian, would you rather do a one-time thing? It's make
I
it
would
easier
rather
for
do
you?
a one-time thing.
Okay, it makes it easier.
It's twofold. We're just finishing up on one.
Okay.
This one would be done before the end of the year and it'd be clean, so we'd be open to anything new with any new grants that need to be.
Can we table that for now, or do we need a motion tonight?
I would do a motion if you can, because I can then get it in motion, because the money, they just ask for verification on account. As soon as I get it, we're gonna have the money. Then once I get it, I have to have it turned in and have it, when I say approved, you gotta, oh shoot.
Brian, is this still going just to current employees now that was from before,
It's just in
In
the
the
window.
time
It's in
frame.
the time.
from the
frame.
time frame, but
Yeah.
only current employees?
Yeah.
That's right. If you
there-
left, you don't
there-
get it.
There would
That's
be
not-
13 people
13.
that would be involved. I was doing it, like I tried to do it, and that's why I say I don't have it in front of me. I just was rough doing it. If I did it over 2 quarters and then 1 quarter, it just depends. I'm not gonna speak for the fire department, but I think it would be nicer to have a nicer
Chunk.
chunk.
All right, this is gonna be a weird resolution. All right, trustee Varian moves to pay a one-time payment to all of the firefighters, current firefighters, in the window that the grant supplies, evenly distributed $6,960 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye. Does that make any sense at all?
And that, Amy, that'll be like, it'll be like in October.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I do have those times for you. So the time of alarm, so the time that we got toned was 21:08 PM, and the time that we were on scene was 21:13. So from the time we got the call to put our gear on, get in the truck and drive out, there was 5 minutes.
13, okay.
And yes, there were 2 of us, the 2 people working. We had 1 more come from our department and bring out another truck.
That was my other question.
Yep.
How do they know? Because they're carrying a radio or?
So people that are local have a radio, but they also have active 911. So an active text would show up to them. So it would say
Under
you have a
cell-
structure fire.
Okay.
And so one of our other guys, who actually lived a little further away, came in
Okay.
and brought out a truck. It was obviously a little bit into the fire, but another person came out.
So we had 3 on scene, 2 trucks,
Yes,
and then the mutual aid.
lots of it.
Yep, okay.
Can I ask one more question? This won't be with that, but the tanker that we had out for repair for the bumper.
The engine,
Engine, sorry.
it's not out, still sitting there waiting.
Yeah, the parts aren't here yet.
So, because I did, which I don't have to pay, but I did get the check from the
Insurance company?
insurance
Okay.
company. I did get a invoice, but it wasn't like a billed invoice
Okay.
for like $4,000 or $5,000 worth of parts.
Yeah.
But I got that a long time ago.
Yeah.
I just wondered where that was.
It has not gone out yet.
Okay.
I got one question for you. All right, so if you guys are called out and it's after dark for a fire, for a burn, and the people are intoxicated or any other situation, is our staff ready to handle something like
We
that?
call sheriff.
All
We
right,
call the sheriff pretty regularly.
okay.
So honestly, I mean, if it's appropriate, we would back out and we would just wait for the sheriff to come deal with the other part of the situation. I mean, we've had that where people are pretty
If it becomes domestic,
belligerent.
you kind of back away. Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
we just call the sheriff, and the sheriff's pretty good about coming out. They're not always like insanely fast,
yeah, right.
but
Okay.
we would just back out and let the sheriff come handle that part, and then we handle the fire part.
All right.
Yep.
All right. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, cemetery.
Cemetery, I don't have anything. I know Ryan and I did talk. I know mowing, he's getting ready to mow, but we're stretching as long as we can in between now and for the rest of the season, up to 3.
The only thing growing now is the weeds.
All right.
That's kind of what's there. You just see something tall sticking up.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Todd.
Road report.
Evening, everybody. If the trustees have read over the road report, is there any questions you'd like to ask?
You don't have any more
Yeah,
money.
you haven't been here in a long time. Oh,
Well, we'll move quick. You go, everybody has an estimate in your package for Shecklers. That's to do the short piece on Osnaburg
Osnaburg
Street.
Street.
So
Okay.
we're at this point right now, we're kind of waiting to see once the other two come in. If they come in under, then we'll assess this.
And this is from the turnaround,
This is from the proposed
the proposed
Yes.
turnaround
to the
to
track.
30.
to the tracks.
Above the-
Tracks.
Only to the track.
Only to the track.
Okay.
The other side's not that
Not
bad.
as bad.
On this side of the tracks, it's bad. It's really bad. We sat there and watched 10 cars come in. I mean, they gotta go off the road. It's bad.
But, and tell me, what are we doing here?
That's a full
Just chip and
dab.
seal,
No,
No,
this is
no,
a
no.
full dab.
the full thing?
Full reclamation,
Okay.
down a foot.
Do you feel like
Putting
21 is a
stone
fair
cement.
price for that? Because you know these, you know
Yeah,
it's fair.
oh,
21
yeah,
is
they're going
fair.
down 12 inches, plus they're putting
Oh.
Stone,
concrete with it.
cement, everything in there to stiffen that up.
He-
And recrown it and
The
everything.
guy from Shecklers was concerned. He said you can do it the other way, but he says it's so bad, it's probably not gonna hold up.
Is this this year can do it? We give them an okay, they can do it?
Oh, yeah, he said he could do
Yeah,
it.
we explained to him the situation where we had to see where some other things.
Yeah, we gotta wait and see.
Well, how much did we save by taking off
What do we take off?
Weimer?
Yeah, Weimer.
That
32.
isn't what helped you.
No, I
When you
think
took-
we're,
When you took off Weimer, that helped you do your road leveling project, so you don't have anything like that.
we're waiting to see once.
Do we need to wait for
Yeah, when,
Yeah.
2020 to come in
Yeah.
under?
Brenda,
when 2020,
took the
a lot of times comes in
32,000
lower,
Weimer,
and that's where that money would come from
Yeah.
to do that.
Okay,
paying for the rest
Along
of
with
the road.
the
level.
22.
when will we know that?
Allowance.
Okay.
We were kind of hoping to wait and see.
This
where
doesn't,
we're at after we
this,
do
I
the
don't think
allotment
this
again.
is as critical as like chip and seal. You ain't gonna do it in the winter, but I mean, they can, this sets up.
The only bad
They
thing
could do
is,
this in the fall,
He
late fall
can
would be
come in
fine.
and
if we gotta wait till we see after they've already chipped and sealed and done the leveling on the blacktop, Art's out of here already to chip over
Oh,
top.
to
of
chip
it.
over what he's doing.
Yeah.
I see,
Yeah.
I see.
I
Yeah,
will
yeah.
tell you that I did go through Richard Regula and we sent a request to the state to consider closing Osnaburg.
Oh.
Now,
Okay.
so
Haven't heard
I haven't
anything
heard
back?
back yet.
Okay.
Next week or when?
The other thing,
That'd be great.
The other
Close
thing
that
they said
section,
is they
close
would-
that section.
for what they're doing, they would do it on like a Friday, so it would have as little traffic they want it to sit. It doesn't have to, but they said it's just.
Right.
Tonight, a bunch of semis are rolling out on it
Yeah.
right when they do
And one
it.
other comment I'll make is, and I know we don't have any control over it, but the other day I was coming into town and as I came off of Orchard View onto Wood, a semi had come from like getting off of 30 across Orchard View and was making that
Orchard
huge
in Osnaburg.
Orchard View. He turned off at Orchard View. On that hill there, that huge, why he was so long. If there had been a car come over it, and we are going to have an accident.
Yeah. Wood and Orchard View, that hill. Yeah.
Oh, Wood and Orchard.
It took him forever.
It's
It was a
terrible.
really long semi. And then he
They
came
try to make that
down,
turn, yeah.
and he did not turn onto Osnaburg. He went down across the tracks to the light and went right.
Right.
I think that we need to see about getting a no semis
Yeah.
or,
They're skipping East
No
Canton by
turn
going
there.
that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brenda,
Just
they
no
are
turn.
cutting through on Wood Street a lot. A
There's
lot of
been a
big,
lot
of more semis,
really
big
long.
box trailers, semis,
When the event
flatbeds.
this
everything.
happens, we're gonna close that road.
But they're not, he wasn't
Not
going.
permanently.
He wasn't
No,
going,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, but if we do this, so they don't have.
But I'm still
deal
going,
with them, we're gonna
going to
close
town
them.
down Orchard View.
You're still gonna have semis going down Wood Street.
I think we
Well-
need to try to get a sign on Orchard View that says no left turn,
Yeah, that-
semis, no left turn.
They'll still do it.
But
We
I-
put
feel
those
like-
semis at
I mean, we all
Osnaburg and Wood
go-
Street and they tore them.
Brenda and I go that way a lot more than Randy does because we live on this side of town. But going down the hill into town on Wood Street, there's semis that poke out on Osnaburg all the time, sitting there waiting to
Oh,
turn.
yeah,
They
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 do.
go, they go that way all the time. You know, so if you close it, you're gonna slow that traffic down.
No, yeah, I hope.
So, yeah.
All right, I just wanna let you know, I called and talked to our 2020. He said from the way things are looking so far, you never know with weather or breakdowns, but he said he's looking somewhere around the 18th. Could possibly be a little earlier, he doesn't know yet.
Of August,
Of August.
of August.
Yes, of August.
You're right here on the book.
They never come until August.
What's that?
And I called North Star, talked to Brian. He hasn't got back with me yet on a set time. They want to schedule us in, but we are gonna be scheduled in or something
Oh, I think that's what you were looking for.
before the snow flies.
I just wanna make sure Art gets in and out of here.
I know,
In August.
he will be. He will be. And I called Tom Lewis the other day from R&R. He finally called me back. And he said that our tractor, the chassis, should possibly be done by the 8th of August.
Wow. That's
And
soon.
he said, and as soon as he gets it, it's going to Glad Hill.
That's just done, plan, they have to go out.
Oh, okay. They
No,
got.
not done
I was
here,
gonna say, okay, they got.
done out of the factory and going
Okay,
to
well,
Glad
still,
Hill,
I mean, that's
yeah.
only, that's 2
Yeah.
weeks, it's done.
Yeah.
That's good, 3 weeks probably.
So
Okay.
we're hoping. I'll keep in touch with him and see what happens when we get close to the 1st of August, and see where we're at on that.
Good. It's exciting.
And most all of our roads are ready to go for chipping and sealing.
All right.
Thank you, Stu.
Trustees, I did get the acceptance letter for the bids to North Star and to 2020. I know Stu and I have been talking to them, but he's talked to them more. But I officially sent what you signed and approved that with a resolution. So they do have the documentation.
Big deal. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Zoning,
So Mary's out, I'm not sure when she'll be back, but mostly everything is no changes. The zoning commission won't meet for the first time until September 16th. She has a couple new at the top of her report there.
Is any of these, I seen on the internet, somebody, but there was a group of people, and I don't know much, that one that had the trailer with the
With the dogs,
prostitution possible.
I don't know about that one.
That's the one that I believe is the gentleman who was in here, lived in the house and had the trailer, had the camper.
Oh, down here on Indian Run.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't
Mr.
know what's going on with it. I just seen some people talking about it, and I just.
Okay.
I don't-
Oh, you're talking about the guy in the old Hookway house.
Yes, Hookway House.
Yes.
He was outside the other day when I drove by.
So maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but there was just some people discussing about it. So I don't see it on here. I don't think.
Well, I guess I don't go that way that often, but at one time there was someone living in a tent. So if we see a tent pop back up, I'll try to watch. I don't get that way that often. Mary goes that way. But yeah, I had not heard that, Randy. Because there was problems with drugs there and people walking up and down the street.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think those all cleared up.
Yeah, it's been quiet over there.
Yes. I'm not sure what this one on Sendell said, someone's running a business without a permit. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know what that is. But we will mention the possibility of the noise control in allotments. I think we only have 3 allotments in the township that are deemed allotments. Woodlawn, is it Woodlawn? Woodland, or
Yeah.
that's not really an allotment anymore. Whatever that used to be an allotment, the official definition of allotment had stopped on that, had ceased. So it's not really,
One off Route 30?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, I don't know about that.
it's not really an allotment
Who
anymore.
said that?
It's when we were looking at the formal filed paperwork on it. When the gentleman was in here trying to say there were allotment rules, it's not really an official allotment. So that's the only thing we
I
have
don't
to
know how,
watch.
I don't know how any of them would be considered an allotment if that one isn't considered. They're all about the same.
Well, it's when it's the builder builds it and they actually file it as something with it as an allotment. I don't know.
Oh,
all
so
the-
you're saying that it wasn't filed that way originally? I'm
Originally,
just-
it had been, but then it was dissolved.
Oh, okay.
So it's not considered, like Valhalla Terrace is considered an allotment over there. But I don't know 100% why.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I
I
just
see,
have
I
that-
understand what you're saying.
And how you do one and not the other, like what are the parameters to put something like that? in
So like
place?
down off of Maplebrook Street off of 44, that's not an allotment, though there's a group. So where do you designate?
Where do you draw the line? I know, that's hard.
But
I've
you
never called
can't
that
have-
an allotment, no.
That's hard.
Yeah, you can't have a noise variance when we're 96% rural residential because you, for instance, you're probably out there in the middle of the night farming and running your tractors and
Right.
doing things
Right.
sometimes.
That exclude agriculture.
Yeah.
But
But
what,
No, I know.
agricultural has dropped down so low under the state of Ohio. I think you can get, she was talking about the chicken. I think if you have at least a half acre, 1 acre, you can
You
do
can
some
have,
things.
yeah, you can have animals. Yeah,
And so that's why it
Oh, yeah.
doesn't.
I asked, yeah.
You have a cow?
Not inside
No,
city
it's,
limits.
A goat?
it's limits witching them.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that's something that they can start to look at, but it's not gonna happen fast.
Okay.
That's all for zoning.
all right. Old Township business.
The only thing, are we gonna talk about the cemetery? I'd like to do it tonight if we are.
The levy,
Yes,
I'm for cemetery.
I think we should put it on. I know we're gonna have a lot of voters. Maybe it'll help us, maybe it won't.
I think we put it on too. I don't know that you do road as well or no?
I don't think, I think we
I
just
just
need to
do
do
Wait till
one.
next year.
I think we
do
wait till next year
cemetery.
on
We need
road.
the cemetery worse than we need the road.
Yeah,
I'm game with that.
What would happen, trustees, if you did a resolution tonight? I just let you know, our guy that I work with, he's on vacation this week, but I only have till, I have to have it filed by August 7th. So the resolution tonight would be that you're requesting to put it on and get the ball rolling. Then I submit in the very similar language as we had. I would ask you that the first time we put it out there, we asked for 5 years. The second time we put it out was 3 years. I say you should ask for ongoing myself.
Continuous.
I thought we only ran it
Continuous,
once.
No, we had it on twice. We
I
had-
thought we were asking for continuous the first time.
The first time was continuous, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then we went to 3 years.
And we've done it twice?
Yes, we
Yeah.
have
We've
definitely,
done it
not
twice.
recently,
No,
over
I
a
was gonna say,
period
not
of,
in my time.
each year we did it.
I think we should put it
I
out
don't-
there for
we
a
even-
5-year.
I don't remember running it the second.
Yeah.
When did it?
Yeah. It was when we did the fire the first time
All
and it
3
got
of them.
shot down.
Yeah. Then you're saying we did it again?
Yes, you did it
And I
again.
think that was before even he came,
Yeah, that wasn't me.
when we ran.
No, wait
for-
a minute.
No,
No.
We just did it. We just passed the fire one.
We
Right.
we passed the
No.
fire levy
It
last
failed,
year.
failed the
And
two.
that's when it had failed. And then we put it back on. Remember, we did a spring one and we did a fall one. You had it on 2 times in that 1 year.
And we did it in August or something, was it?
Mhm.
Well,
At a
Did the
special
road
meeting.
go back on
you did it in
too?
November and you did it in the,
Yes.
This last time,
Spring,
yeah.
May.
Road's gone down twice.
Yes.
no, road's only been on.
Gone once.
Oh,
I thought road.
I don't even
Cemetery's been on
remember.
twice.
I don't remember the cemetery on twice. I really don't.
Well, my plan would be to go ahead and put the cemetery on in November.
Continuous. Have to, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know. If you think, well, what do they need continuous for? If there's problems and they get it cleaned up.
Yeah, that.
No,
You should have
we're
seen-
still having trouble paying. for
Well,
the
you should have
money.
seen my family the other day. We were at a family event and I explained to everyone how the cemeteries work and everyone and the 25 people that were standing there were like, I never knew that.
Right.
Yeah.
And we
That's what
continue to
has
get
to be
cemeteries and we
right.
can't afford to mow them.
The-
What did it generate, the one we had?
It was like a quarter mil or 1/3 mil.
It was
I forget what it
tiny.
ended up for, $21,900 and some dollars.
It's,
It cost us roughly at the low end, 13,500 right now to mow them 13 times a year. If you have a tree fall down, if you have anything else, the additional money, you can always use it to do so. There's always stuff to be done, but that's where, if you had that, the mowing's gonna continue going up.
Yeah, it's gonna go up.
It's gonna keep going up. So if you get 21 and you had a continuous, that should last you quite a long time. Plus, you still would generate, if you has when I say a good year, where you sell a lot of lots and
Yeah.
stuff, you generate some more cash that year. You usually are generating around 15 to 20 grand a year. And that isn't enough because some years you don't even
And
get
how much ride would that be on a $100,000 house for that 21?
$5.
$5.
I think we should go ahead and try it then for the continuous. I do think that we need to get a spokesperson that goes around and talks a few times,
Yeah.
different places.
Or a mailer. Go do like a post, like a.
yeah.
What would it cost us for a mailer? I don't think we're even allowed to do the mailer.
I think that's the biggest thing. People,
The
People out there.
committee, whenever the committee or whoever the person is that would do the promoting, I think when they did the fire, I'm just going by what I heard from Mr. Piro, was like $400 or $500 they spent on something, and I don't know if that was on signage or something, but the money that was spent was around that. Plus, the fire department did a lot of
Yeah.
information.
That $400 was raised outside of taxpayers' dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think that's something that the Historical Society would help us with?
Good idea.
Because,
Promoting.
yeah,
Yeah, getting the word out. It's a good idea. I think people have no education. I mean, I said to the group I was with, we have to take a cemetery that's given to us. We have to take it. We can't say
Right.
no. Like, oh, well, how do you pay for it? I'm like, good question.
Or we would only mow it 2 times a year.
Yeah, or it's going to be this high. Yeah.
That's,
I think we put it back on continuous and keep the millage the same because the millage is so low. $5.
Take motion.
Trustee Varian moves to put the cemetery levy back on for November in a continuous form with the millage that we had the last time.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
Roll call.
Griffith,
Yes,
Varian,
Yes,
Piro.
Yes.
I think it's a good idea with this.
we have to find somebody.
Yeah, we'll find somebody.
Any new business?
So go back to that. Each one of us needs to try to ask somebody and see if we can come up with someone.
Yeah.
To,
Whoever you ask, tell them that I can give them
yeah, they
factual
just gotta get
numbers.
the information.
Like if they went the last 5 years, 10 years, I can give them factual numbers off of minutes, treasurer's reports, so
I
they
can-
can see how it's been going.
If we want to do a mailer and raise some funds out, I can find someone to put that flyer together. I can do that.
All right.
Okay.
I got something else. So, need one more motion.
I have, I'd like to call an executive session, very quick, no action.
We're calling it on there, Mr. Varian.
Sale conference.
While you're doing that.
Number 5, matters to be kept confidential pertains to matters that require to be kept confidential by federal law and rules or state statutes.
I have something to add to that with no action to be taken.
Okay,
Under the same category?
Yes.
What was it under?
5, matters to be kept confidential.
We put it down.
Hold on,
Can we get
before we second that, if we do the other, do we need to pay the bills before?
You can do it that way.
Isn't it easier that way for you?
It's either way, because when you do pay bills, that's not a resolution assigned to that. Those are general. It's kind of like your minutes. If you notice, minutes don't have a resolution. Paying bills, you've already put that in the motion in your reorg, that you're going to pay bills in
You
between and
want to do it
stuff.
first or after?
There's something to do.
Yeah, the last motion that I have, we'll strike that. Trustee Varian moves to adjourn and pay bills.
Roger. Adjourn, just pay the
pay bills, and then after that, we're gonna go to executive session. So then trustee Barron moves to executive session number 5.
Trustee Bureau second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Trustee Bureau second for executive.
Griffiths,
Yes.
Varian.
Yes,
Puro.
Yes.
thank you.
See you, Vern.